Hi, welcome to the 1 Liter Podcast. You will watch us drinking 1 liters of beer whilst talking about shies. Please like and subscribe. Welcome to the 1 Liter.
Prost.
Prost!
Hey.
Sky high! Sky high! Woo! If you can't guess what the movie is we're going to talk about, thanks to all the voters, right? Yeah. But shall we start with Phil's fun fact?
Phil's fun facts, baby. Let's do it.
Did you know this one's a little bit more serious? Did you know it's a bit spacey? We like a bit of space, nerd.
Why not?
Do you know that hot ice exists?
Heated up ice.
Hot ice. So planet out there, they can see it through telescopes. So much pressure on this planet that it's like the water can't turn into liquid. So it stays frozen. It stays a solid because of all the pressure. But it's also super fucking hot. So it's like thousands of degrees. So it's like pressure, so solid, and then it just turns into gas.
Like,
No liquid.
interesting.
Hot ice.
How strong is this ice? Like, could you crack it with an axe, or would it be stronger than cement?
I don't know. I reckon it would be like, it'd probably have the consistency depending on the pressure, but it could be like normal ice, except it's hot in temperature. I mean, you'd be dead. You obviously can't touch it because
That
it's
gas
so
would
hot.
like melt you, right?
For sure.
Like Raiders of the Lost Ark style. Yeah.
How's it going?
That's it. Yeah. Fuck it. I'll throw another one in there for you. Okay,
What's
so
after?
Philip, you and I just sat down to watch it doesn't have the running time, but the film was Sky High.
Well, it's about an hour and a half, I think.
Hour and a half?
Shut up.
Yeah. First
Absolutely.
thoughts of the film.
I thought I hadn't seen it when we first mentioned it on the last episode, but I've definitely seen it. Probably just once, but I definitely remember bits of it. I was like, yes. And I could see ahead when something was happening. I was like, oh, I know what happens here. Yeah, I've seen it.
You had
But-
shit on lockdown, bro. Like the most important aspect of the movie, you already knew it. So it was just like the rest of it was just a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Right?
And then once you've seen it and you kind of know, it's so obvious in the film the way they film it, like when he's polishing up the friggin' eye of the robot. He's like,
On the dinner table.
look,
yeah.
I'm just facing it towards me.
Yeah.
Conveniently. It's like something sinister's going on here.
For real. That's funny as. So Sky High is a 2005 film. The budget was $35 million. That's pretty good. Like
Yeah.
I thought the film for its time would have been a bit higher, maybe 50.
I mean, a lot of it would be CGI studio costs, right? Like that whole movie is just CGI.
I feel like a lot of it would have been in like, they would have had a lot of wires and shit. So a lot of it would have been in like a studio, for real.
Yeah, 100%.
The movie was directed by Mike Mitchell. Now, we obviously didn't do any research. Like last time we did research, we didn't do research on the director, but we did do some research on Robin Williams when we were talking about Flubber. And the movie was released. Here's the thing is like when movies get released, let's say a movie comes out this year, 2023, they could have been filming it at the end of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you see a movie like, what year did this come out? And it says that date, that wasn't necessarily the year it was filmed.
Yeah.
Just its release date.
Exactly.
So
Especially ones with a lot of editing and post work.
Yeah.
So the actors do their bit and then, that's what I was going to say. The CGI is quite good.
It's cool, man. 2005.
Like for the fact that it's like geared towards more kind of a kid's movie, but it is a kid's movie, right?
It is a kid's movie, but
100%.
anyone from like maybe from the age of like 20 to I don't know. I feel like older people can appreciate it too, right?
They can watch it. There's a lot of sexual innuendos.
Yeah, it's funny.
Absolutely. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I made out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, righto.
And there's a lot of relatable adults as well, where it's kind of like, yeah, I know what that's like.
Mm.
You know, like one person got successful, I'm a piece of shit. You know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Maybe more for Americans because like
Yeah.
that shit's like super hit and miss.
But end of the day, it's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Disney hero movie.
It was a good Disney movie though.
Yeah, it's true.
It was
true.
shot funny, like the lighting was good. It wasn't all like showbiz, Disney. Everything's lights are always really bright and everyone's
Yeah.
colorful. This one had a lot of shading and
Except for that one rogue light at the party. Party scene, everything's red. They're having a conversation. You can clearly just see a light from the floor just illuminating their faces.
I never really watched Euphoria, but one thing I liked about Euphoria is a lot of the scenes were like at like people in like a house party, something, and all you could see is like the blue, like just a lot of shadows, and then like a blue from like a strobe light or something
Right.
illuminating the people talking on a couch while like a high school party's going around in someone's house, and it's like, yeah, that's legit.
Yeah, it's
Like,
blue.
yeah.
They actually think of doing a color.
Yeah.
Blue lighting.
All right, so we'll start off. So our notes. We'll start our notes. So it looks like, Phil, you've got the first note. What do you want to bring up? Lead us into what's going on. So why don't you give us a synopsis of the film?
Yeah, so what's the storyline? The young kid, he is the son of... Oh, do you want me to read the actual?
Yeah.
Will, the son of Commander and Jetstream, is enrolled in Sky High, a school for children of superheroes. So it doesn't just have to be two superheroes. It can be superhero and a normal human and a muggle. Wrong universe, sorry. There, he discovers his true powers and learns about loyalty and friendship.
So the films. So we've got his father, the Commandos, is like all American, played by
You know it.
something Russell, Kurt Russell.
Yeah,
my bad.
there he is.
We've had a couple of drinks. People, give me a break. So it's bad because I don't know the actress of the mother.
And neither.
So we got this guy. He's like super strength, right? He's like Superman, but not Superman. Like he's like
Just strength. The
Yeah.
mother can fly, so they make this awesome combo.
yeah. So the mum like flies and launches him into shit, and they're like super respectful, model citizens. They're
Not douchey.
Not
You
douchey.
you kind of get a hint where you're like, ooh, is he gonna be douchey? But they're not. They're
Yeah.
actually really legit.
just a good Christian white American family, right? And so they have a son, Will, and by the sounds of it, Kurt and the mother went to this superhero high school, which is elevated into the air. It's like
It's just floating.
It's floating,
Just
yeah.
anti-gravity. But hey, they gave it like a technology. They're like, oh, the anti-gravity something doobie have wiki.
boo bap bap, yeah.
Booba da boo boo.
And it makes sense why they explain why the school's in the sky, because if there's any supervillains or other people who might want to harm these children, then
School's always on the move.
Yeah, but one thing we also noticed, which was a bit weird, is that we were trying to figure out if the school was like for one state or maybe just everyone in America. But if it was, it'd be packed because there'd be superheroes everywhere. But what we realized later on is like because they're walking each other home and they're finding each other at the same Chinese restaurants and shit. So we realized it's just one little like it's like a
They're all from the same suburb, but the school just happens to have the best superhero and super heroine
right.
in the world that went there. So I don't know. Maybe it's that special school. You know.
So we can assume that there are other superhero schools in other states, right?
Yeah.
Or suburbs.
Yeah, but this one's the Harvard of superhero high schools.
But also another problem is like later on in the film, and even at the start of the film, the parents are like, they make it quite clear. They're like, we just flew to Europe and blah blah blah. So
In
like
2 hours.
So
yeah.
clearly they're fighting bad guys in Europe, and wouldn't each country have their own level of superhero?
No, but that's what I mean. Like that school just happens to be the one where the heroes are from.
Right.
Because it's not necessarily like they could be villains from everywhere else, but the one that happens to be his arch nemesis kind of thing is there too. So they must have had like some internal conflict in school.
That must
His
have been
dad
like
and
yeah, and
someone
that's
else.
I think that there as well is the like that Disney charm.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, it's like the world's a big place, but your enemies can be right next door. It's like
But also that's the classic like movie thing. It's like the world's huge, but only this town in America exists. Really,
Exactly, yeah.
Everyone lives here. By the way,
like you never watched The Simpsons, but like The Simpsons had like all these celebrities and like people living around The Simpsons. Like Krusty the Clown was like this famous celebrity, like a washed up clown. Knew all these big celebrities, but he was like a piece of shit living in this little small town in Ohio. And like
Right.
Rainier Wolfcastle was like the Simpsons equivalent of like Arnold Schwarzenegger, same thing. And then there was like Drederick Tatum, which is like the equivalent of like Mike Tyson, and he was living around or like
they're
near
all
the
just
people.
living in that same suburb.
I think
in
it's
the same town.
that American mentality as well. Like Americans, you know, they call people.
It's also story writing. Like it's too difficult otherwise. How are you supposed to make all these stories work if they're all living in different states?
I'm not going to get political.
Let's not get political. Hey, whoa! Gun to the chest.
What state would you live in if you were living in America?
3, 2, Cali.
All right. That's one. I lose one shot, right?
Okay. Yeah. Right.
So this is the thing Phil and I are doing. It's called the hot round. We've got 3 hot rounds in here, right? And like, let's say I'm reaching for this gun and Phil picks it up first. I lose my shot. And it's like off the top of the head, you got to answer that fucking question or you're getting shot. You get shot.
Buy a Nerf gun, by the way, for people listening. Not everyone watches the video.
That's right.
We got Nerf guns. What's up?
Oh, yeah. So we established that Will he's this kid. His parents are the most famous superheroes that we know of in the world, the most like reputable. And so there's a lot of pressure on him because at this point in time, at the start of the film, he doesn't have any powers.
Yeah, he's a late bloomer.
Is he going to get his mother's flying or is he going to get his father's super strength, right? He's a late bloomer. He's almost hiding the fact that he doesn't know his powers to his
he's definitely
parents.
hiding it from his parents. Yeah. He pretends that he's got strength.
Yeah.
Chucks on all them weights and his dad's like, oh, lightweight, high reps. I like it.
Yeah. As soon as the dad comes in, he's just like racking that shit. That's classic, dude. If I was the dad legit, I would have been like, dude, do a couple reps for me. Show me.
You can't even lift it off the rack.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, and then your first note, please.
My first note's ridiculous. So
why'd you fucking put it out on the list then, man? I like it. I had a good laugh at it.
It's very specific. And we literally, while we were watching the film, Joel was going to put a note on his. He was like, nah, it's too specific. No one will get it. And I was like, oh, look at my note. I literally wrote a note that says, I took the liberty to take it out for you. So it's his friend, right? It's the redhead friend.
Like pro tag love interest as well.
The love interest.
Yeah.
She's friends with the family. She's like a family friend. She just happens to be there in the morning before they get picked up for school. And she brought in the mail or something. So she's like, oh yeah, I took the liberty of bringing in it. Whenever someone says that, I'm like, shut the fuck up.
So
like,
what? So you think that's kiss-assing?
That's such a kiss-ass statement, right? Like, oh, that's your mail. I took the liberty of bringing it in. Ugh.
Yeah. And the mother's reaction was like, oh, thanks.
But like, just say, oh, I saw you had mail, so I decided to bring it in. Don't say I took the liberty. Like, oh,
she's making an effort, man. Give her a break. She's
trying to impress. She likes their son. I get it. She's got a crush on him.
And that is it's another level of like coolness as well. This is what I thought was strange. Like, they were the nerds in the school, right? But they were really humble kids. And obviously that's a good reflection on the parents. But he is the son of the coolest superheroes on the planet that we know of, right? And she is the best friend of the son who is the coolest superhero on the planet. So she would have grown up with those two people in her life and be like, it'd be like you growing up knowing like fucking Kanye and Kim or something like that. You know, it's just like, yeah, I grew up with them and like, yeah.
Give me someone better.
We were listening to Sky High as a first, yeah. What about fuck, I can't think of a Hollywood couple. But let's say like you've known them all your life and like everyone lords over them, right? And you were just like, oh, they're fucking whatever. So you'd have a level of like, I'm cool, I've been with the best.
Whatever,
right?
Ryan Reynolds, whatevs.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds and what's his
you know this.
Blake Lively, that's his wife.
Yeah. I knew them next door, whatever.
My note. So I guess we got them. So that's the love interest comes in. She's obviously pushing herself forward. Will, and we discussed this, Will is oblivious to the fact that she really likes him. He just thinks they're best friends, right?
Classic young teen high school Disney movie, you know?
Right. And we were obviously bad-mouthing him, like, dude, it's so fucking obvious. But then after a while you realize because this poor kid's had all this pressure heaped on him, like, oh my God, I have this, my parents are the biggest superheroes in the world. How could I ever compete or ever get out of their shadow or ever just feel like
we're getting deep.
How could I ever feel adequate enough to be their son? You know, like I don't want to be a failure. So I think at the end, would you even consider love at that point in time or like looking for those things? Like
looking for someone to have a crush on you when you have zero confidence in yourself to even be respected by your own parents?
100%, bro.
What?
It's gnarly.
Depth. Character depth. Speaking of character depth, so the actor for the protagonist, Will, what did you think of that?
He's an antagonist.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, you're right.
No, protagonist.
Protagonist. I got mixed up. Now you're the pro.
Will.
I thought I thought at first maybe they must have. You can almost see where they started filming the movie and then the scenes where they don't. Some movies are hard, man. They'll start the first day of shooting for a film will be the last scene of the movie.
Yeah, the like key scene where it needs to be fresh, like especially when it's between two people. They do that often, don't they?
Someone brought that up in the workshop I did recently with this director, Peter. And Peter brought that up and he's like, that's why I like to shoot different versions of the ending. That's a genius idea, dude. Genius. So you've got contingencies. But I thought he was all right. I thought he did all right towards like
At
later
the
on.
Start, we were like, he's not really. He was too chill. That's your. He was too calm. That's your first note.
Yeah. So my second note is like, and this is a reason why some actors like to get acting coaches to help them, because an acting coach isn't just going to help you get a voice and get the walk down and all that jazz. They'll help you break down the script. Because if you break down a script one way and then someone else reads it and goes, and you're like 2 days away from going to film, for instance, and they read it and they go, oh, cool, so this is this. And you're like, what? How
never
the
thought
fuck
of it
did
that
I never
way.
thought of it? Yeah, so my first note is that he was too calm on his first day. So his first day, redhead comes in. I took the liberty of taking this out for you. He comes in, sees her, hey, here's my friend, you're at my house, you ready to go? And the parents are like, have fun on your first day, da-da-da. And he was like, I will do, Dad. See you later. Bye. You're embarrassing me. You'd be like, oh, fuck, first day of school
You'd be
is nerve-wracking.
freaking out.
Yeah.
A, it's your first day at a new school. That's freaky as fuck as it is. B, you don't have any fucking powers. You shouldn't be there.
Lord have
bro.
mercy.
You shouldn't even be there.
And here's the thing, it's not just a regular old school, right? It's a fucking school full of superheroes, dude.
Yeah, it's
So,
fucking Hogwarts.
So
but
you
crazier.
You may not have superpowers, but like that's a fucking hostile place to be in. Like, can you imagine like going to a place where like kids are learning to use their superpowers?
Oh, yeah.
What if one kid can like shoot like the same sorry, the fucking thing I was getting caught.
Let's get tickling me.
Yeah. Superheroes, what if do you know like the rays of the sun rays can like, if they broke through the barrier, they'd wipe us all out. Like what is it, solar flares?
Yeah.
What if a kid has the ability to like release a mini solar flare and this kid's unstable and the teacher says the wrong thing and the kid's like, and everyone just fucking, hear that sound?
Disintegrates.
Everyone just disintegrates. Yeah. So your first day. Yeah. They'd be fucked, dude. So like, look, I personally wouldn't be thinking about this shit, but when I think about it, there's so many dangers to that school,
Oh,
bro.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, at least there's not like 3-headed dogs and shit locked up in dungeons and old stories of he who must not be named.
Can you read out my second note for a sec, please?
The second one, it's about the decent. Keep that drink in your mouth, boy. You spit out your drink.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, that's your drink. You got to drink your own backwash.
I know it's gross. If I kept it in my mouth, I would have choked.
What? What are you talking about?
Your third note is just Commander of Jetstream. The second, why did you write that down? Why does that?
I was just making notes so that I know the character names when it comes to talking about
You've
it.
got no other character names on there. You just gave up. Commander of Jetstream. I was like, oh, what does Phil have to say about this? Maybe he's going to break down their names. So my next note is the film had decent espionage. So if you had never seen the film before and you watch it from the start, you don't pick it up. But if you've watched this movie a couple of times, you realize watching it again, like it's like, oh, it's interesting. The whole film comes together in a nice nutshell.
There's twists. There's good twists. Yeah.
So right at the start of the film, there's a scene where the mother and the father take down this giant robot destroying a city. And again, the graphics are great. And then the father takes a souvenir, he rips out of the eye, this big ocular eye out of the robot, and he takes it home. And then
they obviously describe that this is a regular occurrence. Like on the news, they're like, oh, and he's ripping out another souvenir of his accomplishments, of his defeats.
So you think it's just Will watching the TV, seeing his parents save the day again. And so you kind of put that to your back of your mind. It's another way to show, oh, just before Will's about to go to school, and here's another bit of sand rubbed into the wound. Oh, shit, that remind me again. My parents are amazing.
Parents are awesome.
Yeah. So you don't realize later on, the father brings that eye home and he puts it on the table and he's kind of making an ornamentation out of it, like for the
polishing it up.
Yeah. And you don't you think, oh, it's whatever. It's just the father being, and you're more focused on the conversation between the parents, but you don't realize that eye later on in the film there's a significance to that.
Yeah. It's a fucking camera, bro.
That's a good laugh.
Spoiler alert. That was great. But no, you're right.
Steve,
Commander in History. But we have the same note I
Yeah.
just saw. We have a note that's exactly the same.
Exactly. But I have a note before that. So Steve didn't know about the power placement. Right. So Russell.
The son.
Yeah.
Wait, Will.
His
Will
name's
didn't know.
Steve.
Will, the son of...
Steve Stronghold? Will Stronghold. I called him Steve.
Who's Steve? Steve's his dad.
Steve.
His dad is Steve. Yeah, Commander.
Sorry, it should have been Will. So this kid, his father, by the looks of it, his father's been talking up this school forever. It'd be like a in Harry Potter, Ron Weasley would have grown up constantly being told, you're going to go to Hogwarts one day. We went, your brothers went, you're going to go.
This happens in real life, bro.
Yeah.
If you grew up in Sydney, if you went to a private school,
yeah, exactly.
it's being talked about.
Yeah. And at the start of the film, one of the first scenes with the father and son, Steve and Will, Kurt Russell says, well, son, I'm really glad you're going to the same school that I went to, blah, 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 blah. So you would have thought for sure he would have regaled his son with tales of the school. And the first thing is he gets to the school and they're like, your first class will be known as power placement. We're going to decide if your powers are good enough to be the superhero or second best, not as good, but enough to be
hero support. Which basically sidekicks. Sidekicks. It's like the Sorting Hat, but it's a douchey gym teacher that sorts them.
And funny enough, Will was like the only one in the group who's like, what's power placement?
Yeah, like his parents are the only ones that didn't tell him about it. Everyone else's parents were like, oh, you're going to do power placement.
Yeah.
Because they probably had an open conversation about their powers. Like, hey, Mom, look, I glow. Be like, oh, my God, you're going to be a hero for sure. Because he was very sure of himself. But
Yeah, there's a character in the show who glows, and from an acting standpoint and a young actor as well, that kid was really talented.
Yeah, he was actually great.
Yeah, he was like, he had comedic timing. He was like present. He didn't look like he was like, every word was natural. He was like, oh, yeah, man. I fucking, like, it wasn't like, line, wait for you to speak. My turn, line, you know? What's our next note?
Disgusting.
So again, here's a little touch of poor writing. I wouldn't say poor writing, whatever they were thinking at the time, but I probably could have written something that tied it in, like he knew about it, but it was like, oh, this isn't. Oh, back when my dad was younger, they didn't call it power placement; they called it this, and it was like pretty stringent, you know, because everyone had strong powers back then. You know, like I didn't realize that car drops on us. You know, this another way.
Exactly. So our next note, we had the same note, which. It's just we obviously both noticed how they over dramatize some scenes, but it works perfectly. So he's going through all the students. He's like, you show me your power. You show me your power. And then he goes and he actually gets to his friend, the redhead, and she refuses to show her power. So then he just immediately puts her into sidekick role.
What was his name? Mr. Boomer.
Mr. Boomer, yeah, because he's got a booming loud voice.
Played by Bruce Campbell. He's a good actor. I like Bruce Campbell.
So he immediately goes, you're a sidekick because you wouldn't. Sidekick! No, Sidekick!
Yeah. So the guy's got like Sonic. So he's a sports teacher. you see multiple teachers in the school, like the principal and stuff, but this is almost like the jerky, like lives in a van down by the river sports teacher.
Thinks he's got the most important job in the entire school, basically.
Essentially, he kind of does, because like all that other shit is just like pre-voc, right? But like as a superhero, your job is very physical.
Yeah, you got to know about your powers.
So he's honing them, like, you know
how to use your powers.
So Coach Boomer, that's his name.
Yeah, so he gets to the friend, he goes, "You're a sidekick." And then does the bell ring or something?
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, we're going to go to recess, and right when we're back, we'll get back to it." And it's like over dramatized. He looks right at Will and goes, "Starting with you." It's like, So basically it's like what Will is feeling, but it's portrayed in acting for the viewers. Satisfaction and involvement in the action.
The next note that we had Imogen Pound neutral room.
Oh yeah, dude. In the school, when they get detention, there's a room where you walk into and all your powers are disabled. Like, isn't that the most sought after weapon for any villain in the world? That's like, oh my God, there's all these superheroes that are going to stop me from doing my crimes. What can I do about them? Oh, wow, wait, there's a fucking room that eliminates all powers.
How do I weaponize this?
Yeah, how do I steal this room?
Yeah.
How do I just take over this school ground? But I guess that's why it's floating.
That running joke about like Bond villains and like they did it in Austin Powers and shit, where it's just like, you've got the superhero, like the hero capture. Don't give him a bullshit long monologue and slowly lower him into a pool of sharks. Just shoot him in the fucking head.
Every time.
The
monologue, every time.
Every fucking villain could have just weaponized this, shot the superhero and just fucking Desert Eagled them, you know? Yeah, fucking.
Then done the monologue after, just for their own satisfaction. Dude, I do like movies though where they basically make fun of that. Where they do a bullshit monologue on purpose and the hero acknowledges that the villain acknowledges that he's doing a monologue.
Yeah.
That's funny.
This is why South Park is elite, man, because South Park are already doing all this shit.
Oh.
Anyone, like, when I meet people and they can quote, I can make a Simpsons quote and they know it, I'm like, good, I like you. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're on the level. But anyone who
South Park is so current.
Yeah.
They're
constant.
Then they release episodes where they're addressing events that are like weeks before.
Yeah. But the seasons come out later, so then like you're like, oh yeah, this was going on, like Trump and shit. But the thing is, with South Park, when I meet people who say, oh, I never watched it and shit, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Hey, I never watched it.
Yeah,
but I know it.
Yeah, but like I know that if you and I watched a compilation of the funniest South Park moments, you would enjoy it, and you wouldn't.
And I would have probably seen most of them if it's the funniest moments, because they're the ones that get circled and shared.
Yeah, not even the funniest moments, just any random episode picked from any season. You and I would watch it. I reckon you wouldn't just find the jokes funny; you'd understand the backstory and what South Park are doing.
Because it's real and relatable, and
they take the piss out of
events.
Everyone, man. Nobody's safe. Nobody. All right, so I've written here, one thing missing from this film, Thai film, is how horny this kid would be. And here's the thing, like
the protagonist,
yeah, so
Will.
This is high school. This kid's just like, he's blooming, right? He's like, his hormones are pumping. The hottest chick in the school, the most popular chick, the most intelligent chick in the school, is instantly giving him attention.
Well, as soon as she sees his strength. Oh, no, instantly.
No,
you're right.
She
suspects.
Yeah, she's throwing her.
She's already tweaking.
She's tweaking. And so, this shit's wild, dude. I remember, I'll tell you a story.
Here we go.
So there was like a really hot chick. There was a really hot chick in my primary school who translated over to high school, and she was instantly put in the hot girl group, right? We didn't really have a hot girl group in my grade, but she was like hot. And because we went to the same school and because I was like the funny kid, whenever we went in maths class in year 8, she would always sit with me and I would always laugh and like make her laugh and shit. And she used to always put her legs up on me, man, on my lap. Because I was in like the worst math class. She would put them up on me and like, dude, like this is like the hottest chick. Like clearly she was like, I own this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like a pet, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I was just
happy
like.
to be.
Yeah, exactly. And like she had this like perfect tan, like runner legs for like a young chick. Like she was athletic, and like it was just, I was rock hard, dude. And at that age,
I was waiting for it. I was like, where is it? Where is it going?
Dude, I was like, at that age when my hormones were first kicking off, like my hands would shake. Like I was like, mustn't pull up her skirt. Hold it together. Like I was like ravenous. Like I was like a fucking.
Yeah.
So totally respectful. But I remember like this kid's getting the attention from that chick. Like if I was like this kid, he's obviously a young actor and he's making his way and he did do some decent films afterwards. But if I was like his acting coach or something, I'd be like, how old are you, kid? He was probably like 18 or 19 at the time. I'd be like, play this scene like you're fucking horny, bro.
But it's a Disney movie.
No.
They have to
hide that shit.
But like, when the scene where she like touches him and kisses and shit, he's like, oh yeah, okay, like that. Like, I'd tweak it a little bit, man. Like, have fun with it, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see that for the comedy aspect of it.
Could you imagine watching a fucking Disney movie? Wait, could you imagine being a parent, right?
Yeah.
A parent, you've got a child that's like adolescent, maybe early teens. Watch this movie, and this girl goes up, kisses him, and he's like, "Yeah,
that's funny." And
you'd
that
just
would
be like, "What the fuck?"
No, dude, like, cause like, it's his choice, right? It's like, hey, that kind of kid is. And so then later on, she could have had a line where it's just like, "I'm gonna get you, Will," when she's fighting him. I'm kind of spoiling, and then he's like, you know, almost like that Rush Hour line, like. When Chris Tucker's like about to fight that Asian chick in Rush Hour 1, he's like, we could have had something special, but you went crazy ass bitch. like he was like trying to like hook into her. So it's like they could have had a good throw back and forth where she was like, you were all over me. I had you in the palm of my hand. And he was like, don't flatter yourself, old lady. You know, like there's just so many. Yeah. I don't know, but I think I'm too real, right?
Oh yeah. Everything we imagine it in a real scenario. If that was real life, ridiculous.
Yeah.
But also, this whole segment is full of spoilers. Like it doesn't matter. So basically, the hot girl at the school, super hot. She's talking. He can't even listen because he's just like music and stuff. He's zoned out, honing in on it. Hot as. Ramona Flowers from
Mary Elizabeth
from Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Mary Elizabeth. Whoa.
I don't know, but she's Ramona Flowers. So
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Who's married to Ewan McGregor at the moment.
Damn!
Apparently. Yeah. Obi-Wan's getting that. He's getting that.
She's super interested in him because she's obviously strongholds, and then. As you get through the movie, I'm going to spoil the fuck out of it. This is one of the biggest twists. She is the main antagonist. She is the evil that is planning on getting close to him on purpose to get close to his dad, who has her super weapon from when she was around way back when, before the kid was born.
We'll explain that better in detail, but your next
In
note.
detail.
Your next note. So here's the... We call these the
what do you call them? It's like a side story antagonist.
It's called an accidental antagonist.
Accidental.
So some villains can be accidental antagonists. Like he was my best friend. Like, do you know Ron in that Harry Potter film where like Ron leaves after a while?
Yeah. Where they're traveling and stuff.
You could see that as an accidental antagonist. He becomes an enemy.
But this one's like very thought out. Like he's meant to be this bad kid.
Same thing.
Blah blah blah. And
there's
then
a redemption phase. Yeah. So it's alluded to and explained later on that Will's father, Steve Stronghold, the commander, went to high school with a guy called something Peace. I can't remember his name.
His dad. Barry Pete? No,
I can't remember his name. But this guy ended up becoming like a super villain, and the commander defeated him. Russell
put him in jail or whatever.
Kurt Russell defeated him, and he's in like maximum security, like probably the same kind of like null field room where you can't use your powers. And so I guess this kid's grown up knowing that his dad was like a criminal, right? Like a really bad guy.
And then he's about to go to school with the son of the guy who put his own father in prison.
Precisely. So, and off the top, we're expected to believe that this guy's a bad guy because he's like quiet, sticks to himself, tattered clothes, emo, dark
Hair
hair.
hanging in front of his face.
His name's Warren Peace. And so his ability is to project fire, shoot fire.
Ooh, out of his hands.
Very tight, very tight.
Cool power. Really, not very useful, but stick.
Yeah.
Useful if you want to be killing stuff.
Yeah. So you got two bullies. This lanky dude who like can stretch his limbs, and another guy who's like this.
The Fantastic Four stretch guy.
Yeah, and
A
the
Train
Flash.
from
Yeah.
A Train from the Boys.
Yeah,
They teamed up.
Yeah, and so they're automatically obviously intimidated by the success of his parents and his future potential. So they try to pick on him whenever they can. And when Will's walking through the cafeteria in the school and he's got the tray full of food, so American. Tray of food. The only time I've ever eaten with a tray of food is at like IKEA when I get food at IKEA.
Yes, IKEA meatballs.
Hell yeah, yeah.
$2.
Stretchy Man trips Will as he's walking past Warren Peace. His food goes all over Warren. Warren's like, "How dare you ruin my emo piece?" They automatically start fighting in...
Flame on!
They start fighting in the cafeteria. And then when Will's getting his ass kicked and he's fleeing from this flame-wielding psychopath, next minute, the flame guy directs his fury towards Will's friends, and out of like that compulsion to save your friends, Will's hiding under a table that Warren's above him, lifts the table up and unlocks his first super ability, which is his father's...
Which we think is his only super ability, obviously, but first big spoiler.
First big spoiler, my bad.
Boom.
I ruined that.
I spoiled the whole twist.
We should probably cut that,
No,
right?
I spoiled the whole twist.
Will has super strength.
Boom.
And so like all that stress and fear and anxiety is gone. Like he deserves his place in the school. He has lived up to not lived up, but he has reached the pinnacle of what his parents expected of him.
Yeah. Finally, found his powers in a Disney film. What do we think is going to happen to his ego?
His ego. So Will...
Pop it off.
So Will and old mate fight. And Phil's note here is that the fire guy is too pretty.
Oh, the actor is way too pretty. Like they've made him this smooth-faced. What is he, like half Native American?
For sure Native American. That or like
Something Native American,
Polynesian.
something
I'd say
tan.
Native American. Yeah.
And he's just a pretty boy, right? That they've done up to be this villainous
Yeah.
emo kid. And it just doesn't work to me.
Oh really?
Nah.
He's too fine.
Too fine.
Too fine.
Too fine.
So those two fight. Like an understanding, I guess, is created between the two of them.
Oh, not at that point.
Not at that
They
point.
go to detention, but yeah.
But at this point in time, Will has his powers unlocked. He's just taken on one of the scariest guy at the school and prevailed. He saved his friends. Like he's just on cloud nine. He's glowing. He goes home, opens the door, rips the door off the hinges, places it down, turns around. Mum and dad are there.
Right. Yeah.
Mum and dad's just silent while mum's scolding him. But he's like, he can't accept the scolding because he's like, "Mom, I got my fucking powers.
I got
Like,
my powers, man."
Yeah, and so
she's like, "I heard about your detention,
Yeah.
but I got my powers."
Any true parent would be like, "Yo, my man did well."
Yeah.
You can tell that both parents have like,
But do you know why there's that conflict? At the start of the movie, the parents have a little conversation. They're like, no, he's going to have super strength. And she's like, no, he's going to have... When he tells them that
so
he doesn't
mum's
have his
a little
powers
annoyed.
yet. So mum's a bit annoyed that he doesn't have her flying powers. And dad loves the fact that he's got his super strength.
yeah,
so
yeah.
Of course he's going to go
realistically,
easy on him.
here's the real question: super strength, flying.
Damn it! Flying over super strength.
It's
Right,
hard.
I'll give it to you. One
It's
bullet
hard,
wasted.
dude. Think about this. I just thought of this as I was composing
By the way,
question.
guys, I just had a gun to Joel's chest, and the question was going to be which superpower would you choose? And obviously, flying was the answer.
Here's the thing: would you have super strength?
No. See, look,
See, there you go.
it seems like
Flying seems like super strength is amazing and you can be indestructible, but flying is like you can get so much more shit done. It's more economical in this day and age.
Let's face facts here, right? If you had super strength with super quads, you could jump so fucking far. You probably don't even need the flying power. And
True.
when you land, you're not going to get hurt. Maybe I would choose super strength. Flying, but flying seems to also come with slight, what's it called? Invincibility. Like she's still
because like she
bulletproof,
land
right?
pretty fucking hard, bro. Like her shins.
But I feel like she is kind of still bulletproof.
Yeah.
They're all like have some level of resistance to external
cell mutation.
yeah, something.
When you think about, and another thing you and I brought up is like, let's say you have super strength. How could you ever build mass if nothing is ever going to challenge your muscles?
How could you build mass?
You'd be a
have to
twig.
yeah, but not necessarily. You'd have to just do like sets of a tank or something. High volume, you know? Lightweight, high volume.
Yeah, true. I wouldn't want to be like a Bruce Lee with like no body fat and just like real shredded. I'd want to have mass, you know?
You'd want to get some mass.
So,
Just work on hypertrophy.
so one other note is that what's happened is the father has a secret sanctum, that's what he calls it, which is his like man cave, and it's like his like lair for his superhero persona. So he's got
both
like
of theirs, they both slide down there. They have these little
And the mother as
firefighter
well.
poles in a secret door that they slide down into their lair.
Yeah.
And that's where he keeps all these treasured weapons and souvenirs he's got from the enemies.
souvenirs from his combatants, yeah, and then as well as like tech and all the stuff, and a pool table and
And a pool table.
ski ball, whatever.
Don't forget, it's a man cave.
So, and his most prized possession down there is a broken, weaponized like a ray gun thing from his enemy, Royal Pain, and it shows a flashback of him fighting Royal Pain. It was like his most glorious moment, and he defeats Royal Pain, and Royal Pain's gun, the pacifier, explodes, and Royal Pain disappears. And he's like, "Cool, it was a cool battle." What you do is you find out later that what was her name? Gwen?
The big twist.
Yeah.
The hot chick. Gwen, the hot chick at the school.
Gwen Stacy, the main babe who's like all over Will, was Royal Pain. She had this pacifier gun. When it went off, it's called the pacifier because it turns you into a child.
Turns
so
you
this-
into a baby, an infant.
So she was probably born like 60 something. She's fighting the commander. The gun goes off. She gets turned over. The Royal Pain's villain sidekick henchman was I don't know. He was like some weird jester. He was a fucking psychopath, dude. Like a real creep. He took her, and here's my next note. He took her and raised her again. And we didn't realize, we thought, oh, you get turned into a child, so you lose all your memories, but you retain all those memories.
Yeah.
So this villain had to go through puberty again and raised by her henchman. But what bothered me is that even if you reach like you're from baby, and then once you're like a toddler or like a small infant, like you get your memories back, you're like, oh shit, I'm a little kid. Fuck, now I have to go through puberty again, but I'm a supervillain. She was raised by this dude, like this henchman clown jester raised her, went out of his way to raise her, and she still treats him like absolute shit.
Yeah, because she's like, he's a freak. Because he is a freak, but like, okay, we say raised her, but obviously if you're
He would have had to wipe her fucking doo-doo.
Yeah, but if you're retaining your memory, she would have been like 30 something when she got turned back into a baby. So imagine our consciousness just going back through a baby body. Like you wouldn't need much raising, you would just need help
Maintenance, yeah.
before you can maintain yourself, before you've got full control of your limbs and hands.
Yeah,
and,
but if you were with someone for the next, let's say, 16 years, depending on how old her character
it'd
was,
rub off on you, right?
yeah, you'd be like, thank you so much. But she fucking strangles, ankle. She strangles him and shit. It was annoying.
Freak.
When Layla is leaving and Will arrives. Okay, so there's another scene, right? Where at this point in time, Will is popping off. He's got the girl of his dreams in the palm of his hand. He's doing well in school. Like they did this competition where those two bullies, the lanky guy and the speedy guy, challenge Warren Peace and Will just after they had a fight in the cafeteria to they have to team up and defeat these two guys. They kick their ass and they win. So more glory is heaped onto Will. Will's at home, and then he agrees to catch up with his old friends and Layla, his red-headed friend since he's known since grade one, his best friend who he doesn't realize loves him. he's like, because he's hanging out with the popular people so much. She's like, yo, dude, I haven't seen you in ages. You're always with the popular group now and that Gwen girl. Can we hang out again? Like, you're my best friend. I've known you since year one. Like, we're homies. Like, I take your fucking parents' trash out. I take the liberty, you know?
I take that liberty.
So he's like, yeah, let's get Chinese food. He's like, cool, no worries. And they plan to go and have Chinese at their favorite, like, hangout. Where Warren Peace, this, like, quiet, introspective, emo dude who's a poet and has a heart of gold, seems to work.
He just works at a fucking diner.
Yeah.
With his hair tied back so you can just see his face completely instead of his emo cover up.
Oh, hey,
and he just seems to be more confident, you know? He's all of a sudden, he's just Heath Ledger in 10 Things I Hate About You. You know what I'm saying?
He is Heath Ledger in 10 Things I Hate About You. Like,
that's what he is.
Like bad boy with the heart of gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Will is on the phone with Gwen, and Gwen's like, hey, the student body council want to have a meeting, but we couldn't, so can we do it at yours? He's like, sure, a couple of people come over, it'll be cool. Like,
She's lying.
She's lying.
It's a party.
It's a fucking school party.
At his parents' house.
She convinces Will to...
Swindles him
to go...
taking her into a place where they could be alone, which, of course...
is the secret sanctum.
His father's man cave.
And while she's seducing him...
Why does she want to go in there?
So she can steal back her pacifier.
So she gets one of the other students involved?
Dude, here's another problem with this film I didn't write down. If she had another 15 or 16 years to grow up again and through puberty with her consciousness, she would have made a better version of the pacifier. Why did she have to steal her old prototype?
Right?
Dumb.
She had years to recreate it.
Exactly. So
she controls tech. She can build tech with her mind.
Exactly. So while Will is being seduced by her down in the sanctum, you see the fast guy steal the gun. So you're like, okay.
Who's also a student who she's recruited. Somehow she's managed to recruit students into being evil villains.
Yeah. Very persuasive. So she spent 15 years learning persuasion.
She's hot.
Yeah, she's hot. Instead of working on a new gun. So fast forward, he comes back upstairs with her. Party's doing whatever. But what annoyed me was that at first he's like, yo, boo-boo, why'd you bring these people here? There was supposed to be a student body meeting. There's like, the whole class is here. She's like, you're popular now. Deal with it. It's a party. And he's like, and then she takes him down, fucks with him. So he comes back upstairs beaming, right? She's obviously kissed him or something because it's Disney.
They made out.
They made out.
Remember,
right?
He says at the end, I made out with an old lady.
Yeah, he probably had stinky fingers, you know?
Hey, whoa.
Hey-o.
Disney.
Shots fired. So, and then Layla comes over and's like, what's going on? Opens up his door, sees this party going on. She goes to find Will and instead is confronted by some of the other popular kids. She gets fucking blueballed by fucked over by them. What are you doing here? You don't belong here. And then next minute, Gwen, the popular girl, the evil villain, sees this and says, oh, Will, can you go get me a drink? Before Will notices his best friend arrives.
That's right.
She walks over while Will's distracted, berates this girl about how she's not worthy for Will and like she's a loser. And
she tells her that Will is hiding from her because he's too good for her now, but he doesn't have the heart to tell her.
Right.
So basically she's telling him, Will hates you, so you better get the funk out of here.
Yeah. Here's my next note. Will comes back and he's like, hey, Layla. And then Layla walks away and he's like, follows her out. And he's like, Layla, what's going on? Why aren't you talking to me? And then she turns around. She's like, fuck you, bitch ass. And then she leaves. But here's my problem. He just came back from hooking up with this chick, right? He's feeling great. She's like, go get me a drink. He's like, sure. He walks into the kitchen. Place is still getting trashed. So automatically you'd revert back to, oi, put the cutlery down. What are you doing? Stop hanging off the wall.
He mustn't have seen any triggers at that particular time.
It must have been, because when he goes back, he's like, hey, Layla, I'm such a kid. Like, again, maybe he did get the notes to be a horny kid, because like, once you've got once you bust the nut, you're all good.
But you're absolutely right. I just realized that just clicked to me. When he sees Layla's friends with his parents, it would bring him right back to reality. He'd be like, oh shit, Layla.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm having a party. What are you doing here? What the fuck?
Yeah.
He'd be freaking out. But
he was
I do like the realism of
as soon as he follows her and she's like, you guys will be great together, and storms out, he goes up to the hot girl and is like, what did you say to her? And then he full goes into defense mode,
That
which
was
I like.
100. That was 100.
I like that.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, what the fuck did you say to my best friend? Like, get the fuck out of here. And he's like, party's over. It turns out the parents are standing right
Yeah.
there and they're like, ha ha ha, we saw everything. Get out.
Yeah. So Will had asked Gwen to go to the
Nerf gun to the chest. Layla or Ramona Flowers?
Ramona Flowers.
Absolutely correct. Boom. Bullet wasted. Shit. If you don't know who Ramona Flowers is, it's the same actress as the hot girl in this movie, but in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Go watch it.
Go
That
watch
should be
it.
on our
That
list
should be
for
on
the
our
next,
fucking list.
next
Yeah,
vote.
yeah, yeah. So he was supposed to go with Ramona Flowers to Wendy to Gwen Wendy
Wendy?
to the prom. So she was like, "You're dumping me
Yeah, he dumps the hot
day
girl.
before the fucking prom? Fuck you!" And
So,
then
it's still called the prom, though. What is it? Homecoming dance.
homecoming.
Homecoming.
Fuck prom, homecoming, graduation. What the fuck, America? What was your Californian friend again?
Californian friend. Oh, the guy that listens to this? Raf.
Raf, can you explain? Can you send Phil? Like we could Google it, but I know you're listening. Can you explain to us what like spring ball, homecoming, like?
All the dances that you do
Yeah.
throughout school, please send an explanation.
And can you explain? So, like, here's the thing, right? In like in Australia, we have kindergarten, and then we go into primary school. Primary school is from year 1 till year 6. Back when we were younger, it used to be from
it was 2 years 7, but it's changed now.
It's changed now. So from year 7 to year 12
It's high school.
is high school in Australia.
We have no middle school.
You graduate at 17 years old. I think in America it might be 18. I'm not sure. So can you explain to me, like, I know freshmen are the young people. I know freshmen are the young people. And then I know like seniors are the seniors. Like we have seniors, and then we don't call them freshmen. We just call them like newbies or like
Veggies.
Yeah. Cause they're like,
Fresh out of the veggie patch.
yeah, veggies. Yeah. So can you explain to me from year 1 to, sorry, not from year 1, from the first year of high school to the end of high school, can you explain what is a junior and what is a senior? Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So, Will decided he doesn't want to go to the fucking dance anymore. He's fucked his best friend over, and he's lost the respect of everyone in the school because he kicked him out. And then he doesn't even want to look into the face of the chick who fucked him over.
Yeah.
He
It turns
doesn't-
out the hot antagonist invited his parents to the dance to honor them or something, special honorary guests.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously it's all just a trap because she's trying to get them all into one place because she wants her revenge because she is the girl from back when they were in high school. Plot twist.
The dance is popping.
Poppin'.
Will doesn't go. Before Will's parents leave, Will's mum's like, "Here, take your dad's old yearbook. I saw him trying to sneak it under the cape so we can like talk to people about it when I get there. I don't want to blah blah blah."
Yeah,
So
he
Will's
thinks
like-
people are going to want to reminisce.
That's the one. He's like, "All right, guys, have a good time. I'm not going to the dance. I don't want to go. You guys go. Accept your honorary award." He starts looking through the yearbook and he realizes that some of the pictures from his dad's year was Gwen Stacy, but
with the hot girl.
yeah,
But she wasn't that hot. She was more nerdy.
yeah, with the pacifier gun, like a prototype of it. So he's like, "What the fuck?" And he looks over at the prototype because he's in the dad's sanctum. Prototype, the pacifier gun. The pacifier gun is gone. Oh shit!
Missing.
So Will freaks out.
Someone
He-
stole it.
Yeah, so he's like, "Holy shit!"
I take down here? It was Gwen, the hot girl.
So all along, Gwen was the bad guy. This is when it's like, if you watch it and you don't pick up on her sinister attitude, then you're like, her sinister disposition.
Ooh.
Then you get it then. So anyways, Will's like, "I need help." Catches a bus to the flying
Yeah,
side.
the old bus driver. The bus driver is a big character. He's a guy that was born by two superheroes that never received his powers. So when he first doesn't have his powers, Will starts freaking out. Oh my god, I'm gonna end up like the bus driver.
Yeah.
Turns out the bus driver's a cool dude. You know,
Yeah.
whatever.
During the award ceremony, when Gwen, Wendy, I keep calling
hot
her
girl
Wendy.
Gwen.
She
Hot.
reveals
Ramona
that
Flowers Gwen.
she reveals that she is the newly aged Ramona Flowers. Turns the pacifier on Commander and Jetstream and all the other high school teachers, and then just starts zapping all the students afterwards, so no one can stand in
They're
her
all
way.
turning into babies. And until that point, we don't know what the gun actually does. And then we realize it just turns you into an infant.
Yeah.
And they're all just laying there. Little infants.
Yeah, sorry, I got to cut you off real quick.
Yes.
What the fuck is with the evil guy's sidekick?
Well, that's every time it cuts to the evil guy, like watching them on the camera, which is obviously Gwen. I'm talking about the guy that raised her, man, the evil clown dude.
Yeah, he was a fucking psycho.
He was a freak.
Yeah. So, long story short, using the sidekick help,
Obviously, all the sidekicks get their time in the spotlight. 'Cause
War and Peace and stuff.
Yeah, all the situations that happen just happen to require the sidekick's specific abilities. They're crawling
Yeah.
through a dark tunnel. Oh my God, we can't see. Hey, I can glow. Boom.
Hey,
oh my God,
yeah.
the device that we need to disable is down this tiny little tunnel. Oh my God, I turn into a guinea pig. Boom, I go down there.
Yeah.
So it all just happens. All just happens really well and in sync. Mm-hmm. But
Will's fighting the main bad woman, Royal Pain. He gets tossed out the window.
Royal Pain?
Royal Pain, yeah.
He's fighting, gets tossed out the window. He's going to fall off the floating island of a school.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, yeah, but he's not going to die, whatever. He's super strength invincible. But then, of course, he also has the flying power.
His
So he
mother's
comes
power.
back up. Boom, boom, boom. I'm the Almighty. I'm Superman. What's up?
Wins the day, and then the rest of the film's over after that.
Yeah, basically, he gets Layla, obviously, his girl that's been his friend the whole time. Now, what I said at the start of the movie, which tends to happen in most movies where the nerdy friend girl or like the friend girl of someone becomes the love interest throughout the film, you notice they always make them look hotter by the end of the film. They make them look more attractive. Whereas in this one, it was blatantly obvious because all the rest, the end scenes, were all with her dressed in her dance outfit, her gown. What was it? The homecoming dance.
Yeah.
She was all dressed up. She had her hair out, curly. Whoa!
Have to sit
Nerf gun to the chest?
You have to sit on a cactus all the way up your ass, or you burn alive.
Oh, God. Burn
Three-
alive. Yeah, I'm a monk for
I
that.
shot, dude. I don't know why I shot that.
You wanted it. You want the cactus. I get it.
No.
You didn't
dude.
like my burn alive
No, dude,
answer.
I
that was so random.
Dude,
It's also not related to anything.
You gave me an answer, but I shot you anyways. Yeah, I deserve
no,
it.
but that shot is normally if you don't like the answer, you still shoot the person, or if it's the wrong answer. Oh, straight to the chest. I took the two to the chest.
All right, so my last note. That is a solid note. My last note is this. My
Joel's
last note. My last note for this movie was that. So the movie basically ends there, happy ending. Will ends up getting with his friend from year one, Layla, and then everyone else, the bad guys, get put in jail. My note was the main bad girl, Gwen, was wasting her time trying to break up Will's friendship with Layla. Why? Like the sidekicks posed no threat and Layla's schoolmates didn't know her power.
Yeah, I get it. That was childish behavior for someone that's probably like 60.
She didn't have to go and like break up his friendship at all.
No.
Like why? Like was she trying to get him to suffer?
No, she could have just stuck to the plan of getting close to his parents.
Yeah, like, oh, Will's got a chick who likes him. Like, she's not threatening me. She's not going to foil my fucking plans.
Makes no sense.
Makes no
Unless she
fucking
was
sense.
so deep into her act that she was like, no, I can't have this. I need all the attention. Got to her. Got to that fresh pubescent mind of hers.
Yeah, maybe that's another thing. Like, maybe you're still your own mind, but like, you can't.
You're still going to
control
have the pubescent hormones,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
like
yeah.
like what you said.
Yeah.
If you're a male, you're suddenly 16. You have the mind of a, let's say you got brought back to infancy now at 30, and then you grew back up to 16. You have the mind of a 46-year-old. But you
You'd be
still
so
got them
chill.
horny hormones flowing through your body, you
Bro,
know?
you'd be
So
a weapon, bro.
God damn.
Damn. You'd be a weapon, bro.
You'd be a weapon.
You go up to chicks and be like,
Unstoppable.
hello there. Like, yeah, stock market. Yeah.
Reading their minds.
You'd be nuts, bro. So
Absolutely.
that was Sky High, really.
Sky.
Sky.
Sky high.
Sky High.
I'm so anti Kanye, but really that song just works there.
I never jumped on the bandwagon like everyone did, bro. Like I liked
You never jumped on the anti-Kanye bandwagon or
No,
the Kanye bandwagon?
I just never thought his music. I never thought he was a genius. Like he made good
His music was not that good. There's
I
some
thought-
catchy stuff.
Yeah.
Controversial.
catchy.
His
indeed.
music's not that good.
Yeah, like people like he's a genius. Like he makes good music. Like the Beatles made good music, but I don't think they're fucking geniuses.
I'm
like,
confident in saying that too on camera because I'm confident that I'm not going to get cancelled for it even in future times because Kanye's an idiot.
when you think of someone like Beethoven or something like
Cancelled.
that, like they were making music from scratch. They were hearing new sounds, but like any old guitarist or drummer can make a beat that no one's made before. You know, like you could call that genius. You couldn't. Like same thing with like actors. Could you call a certain actor a genius? You can say an actor's like really intelligent at reading the mood and the scene, but a genius maybe not. I don't know.
Not a
I don't know.
genius. Great at their craft.
Exactly.
Sure. And I'm sure if I watched I'm pretty sure there's a Kanye doco. If I watched it, I'm
never
sure
watched that.
I'm sure I'd have more respect for him. Like if you watch Never Say
course.
Never by Bieber,
You
you're
see
you have
someone's
way
journey.
more respect for the people.
Yeah.
Like Justin Bieber's Never Say Never, I watched it only like a couple of years ago, even though it had been out for ages, and I heard everyone was respecting him more for it. But I never had real disrespect for him. I put that down to people being envious that they disrespect someone that becomes famous at a young age. Everyone's
Yeah,
like,
nah.
no, that's so shit. I hate him, man. I hate him. Yeah, because you wish that you could have made a song that just went, baby, 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 and then be worth 200 million. But that's not how it works. Like he put in fucking work.
Yeah, bro. I used to sing on the
He
streets.
put
and
in
shit.
yards.
Dude, I've never been one of those people who sit there and go, "This is the fucking fuck this little cunt." Like Bieber, like One Direction, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. When I was younger, I was never like, "Fuck this." I was like, "And they're doing the thing. Fuck it." I don't like it.
They're
but I'm
doing well.
not gonna fucking go out of my way to like badmouth. I'm like, but fuck. Well, yeah. So like, I liked "Run Away from Me, Baby, Run Away." That ding, ding, ding. That Kanye song, and then there was also that work it, make it, do it. That was tight.
But that's because wasn't that like a Daft Punk?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
exactly.
the only reason it was actually good.
Exactly. And there was that one Kanye West song I liked. It was like Power.
Oh yeah, I know the one. Yeah.
That song was sick because that was in like it was in like a video game trailer for like Saints Row 2 or 3. And I was like, yeah, this works really good. But when I
Yeah.
tried to listen to the song by itself, I was like, I'm coming from the 21st century.
I know the one.
Like
Yeah.
I love rap. I like old rap. I like new rap as well, but I grew up listening to like 90s rap. And like when you listen to like 90s rap and they're like, I pulled a sweater, I found the my golden bird, like Wu-Tang or whatever,
Bro.
right? But then when you listen to Kanye, he's like, it's just gross.
This is
man.
why I don't like Drake, and that's very controversial as well. But his shit just sounds very flat. But you and I have had this conversation, I'm pretty sure. Old school rap, right? Back in the day, say for instance, when you watch Straight Outta Compton, good movie. When you watch that shit, it took a lot more effort to release a track. Right now, me sitting in my room here, I can buy a microphone, I can buy the software, I can record it all in my room, I can release it. I can make a world-class beat in my room. These guys, they had to have hookups with studios. I've got some skills putting beats together. I'm Dr. Dre. Boom. Whoa,
Bro,
look at me
all the
piecing
money-
all these.
All
They
the money
had to
that-
make
yeah.
shit, and then they had these groups and they had these characters and they stood their ground, and it was rivalry between, this is America, like the West Side and the East Side, and they would release songs that had meaning because they were speaking about the other side and like dissing them, and then they would make a subsequent return track. You know, they would counteract that with another song, and each song had effort put into it, and like they worked to release that, and it had a specific message. Like that shit is not as real anymore. Now you can be like,
Bruh.
how do I become better than Eminem? I'm really good at rapping, so let me just record something in my room and release it. Done. There's no sweat and grind behind that. So back then, every song meant something. Every lyric
Right.
was like, whoa.
These That's a good hypothesis, man. These people were like selling drugs on the street to survive and doing all this other crazy shit, right?
I'm sure nowadays rappers are doing the same, but
But they
don't have to buy studios
they got
and pay for
laptops and
studio
shit,
time. Yeah.
So this person's selling drugs on the street, and then the next minute, like, he'll be hanging out with his mates, and then he would just start spitting fire about his life, right?
Mhm.
And they're like, dude, that's sick. And then he's got to fucking sell drugs all night, and then in the morning quickly go into the studio and pay some money to rent
Well,
out a
that's more
studio.
for the fact that they wanted to be ballers, and that was the easy way to make money
Yeah,
is sell
oh.
drugs. Because what other skills do we have apart from rapping? or
Exactly,
whatever?
exactly. So like, so they're still living in a dangerous environment. So they're selling these tapes, and then how do they promote these tapes? They got to promote it on their own. So like, and the shit they were talking about was like, it wasn't like, I shoot my gun, I shoot you, I pop 300 shots in your ass.
comment.
Like these dudes were like, I guess they were a bit more introspective back then, dude. They were a bit more poetic. Like,
Yeah.
like now
To a
the
degree,
funeral
I
is
suppose.
now the funeral is over and all my tears are dried up. N-word hanging deep in the cut, getting fired up. Looking for the N-word who pulled a pistol on my homie. An eye for an eye, so now your life is what you owe me.
Oh.
Like, it's like deep shit. That was Scarface.
Oos. And back then, right? Even now, but now it just sounds like a gimmick. But back then, they were rapping about that stuff. And people, especially like civilized Western folk with normal 9-to-5 jobs, were listening to this and going, oh man, that's so deep, because they have no idea what it's like in the ghetto there. And they're explaining it. Like, someone pulled a gun on my homie and killed him. Like, that is, and that's going to induce some rage.
Maybe here's something I've never considered before is like, I know African American people will probably appreciate the money they made, as rappers in particular, from all the white people buying their records and albums and shit. But they probably thought, oh, these wiggers, these this and that, they want to be rappers and gangsters like us. You've grown in a privileged household, and you're just rebelling against your parents and like wearing baggy clothes, and you know you don't like you're not a black person. You never be black. Maybe deep down inside, we didn't necessarily, like we didn't, I don't want to say we, but like maybe a lot of white people weren't necessarily wanting to be black, and they weren't trying to like be a gangster and live that gangster life. Maybe deep down inside, we just appreciate like poetic art.
Yeah.
Like when you think about when you read a story about like a soldier in World War II who held off, like he had one gun and he was holding off a trench, and all his comrades, his 30 men were dead, and he was holding off this one line by himself against a Japanese charge, like a bonsai charge. You'd be like, fuck, that's fucking sick, dude. And then you find out about this dude who's grown up in poverty, and the only thing he can do is sell drugs, and he shoots people, and his friend died. He holds his friend in his arms as he's died, and he wears his strap. You'd be like, fuck, this is awesome. Like
traumatic shit.
This dude is like going through some shit, and I respect this guy, and like he dresses like this. I want to kind of dress like this. I respect the way he is, and like maybe we fell in love.
It's very primal, isn't it?
Totally.
It's very primal. We're like, whoa, man, you've done stuff. We admire things that we admire people that have gone through adversity that we don't want to go through.
That's what I knew exactly what you were saying when you
Crazy.
said it was primal. I was like, yeah, it's like it's warrior shit, right?
Yeah.
Like when you meet a guy who's like fought in Afghanistan, you're like, fuck, bro, like I don't want to ask you this.
I couldn't do that. Like
Yeah.
you just think, holy shit, you put them up high because you're like, I would not wish that on anyone and I wouldn't want to do it kind of thing.
For real.
And same with that, like growing up in the ghetto. And it's crazy that like one of, like I wouldn't say the only, but one of the few white guys that have made it in that circle was Eminem. And even in his movie, it's kind of depicted that he had this shitty upbringing, and in his little rap battle, he goes up against this black guy that grew up quite privileged, and he uses that against him in the final battle.
I'm
Like,
one of you,
yeah,
audience.
He literally says, I'm one of you guys. This guy that's trying to battle me, he went to fucking private school. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't know what I've been through. I grew up in a fucking trailer. I got beat up by his whole crew. Like,
Yeah. Look,
and it wins mad respect.
yeah, and I mean, and a wonderful moment about that, which sucks to bring up, is like the fact that he was a white dude too.
Mm-hmm.
So he was breaking down those walls of diversity as well. He's like, look, I'm white. I have no
But
doubt.
I was far from privileged.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
grew
yeah.
up just as shit as,
yeah.
and it's not just like, it doesn't mean just because his skin is white that he was privileged. I just picked up the Nerf gun and I got a nervous look, but I don't know what to ask.
But like the problem with that is like anyone can argue, yeah, if Eminem's been through some shit. Any white person can be through as horrible incidences as African American people. We're talking in regards to America, but I think the argument that African American people can make is like, let's say they took Eminem and set him next to a black guy in the middle of a street. Who are people going to trust more? Despite
Which is sad.
it is. Despite,
Which is really
despite
just.
what Eminem's been through, they're still going to trust a white guy over him, and that's what I think a lot of the issues that they still face in America. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's purely because of history and all that jazz. This has been a deep Von Liter.
But a good one.
And I want to mention the drink that you got me for this one, which was Fireball mixed with apple, right? Apple juice.
Did it go down a treat?
Oh, it's so delicious. So delish. Anything else you want to add? You got one last bullet?
I do.
You got anything?
What is the name of the two brothers who created Rome?
Oh, I don't know, man. You're the history guy.
Romulus and
Take me!
Romulus and
I don't know. Right in the bicep. Thanks for listening, everyone. Peace out.
everyone.